Some interest was shown in me giving some analysis on my gameplay here, so I'm going to talk about what I was thinking about, like what I was focusing on during the tournament. But before I talk about that, I should talk about how I practice and how I warm up, because that gives some context to like what I'm thinking about later. First thing I do is I warm up in Kovac, because I need to get like my mouse control reasonably good. So after my Kovac warm up, I either shoot bots in Overwatch for a little bit, because that's also helpful, but usually I just jump straight into 1v1s. And the first thing I do in 1v1s is I just focus on reading. Before I'm warmed up, I can't read movement at all, and it's just basically pointless to try to do anything else if I can't read their movement. So what I found that helps is increasing the movement speed. Every few fights, I turn the movement speed up until we're at like 150 or like 175% movement speed. And I'm just trying to like actually visually just perceive what is going on my screen, so that it's not just like a blur. And then also be able to like comprehend their dodge patterns as well. Are they long strafing now? Are they like just spamming mid strafe, stuff like that? And then I go back down to normal movement speed for a little bit, do the exact same thing. Then after that, I usually will actively practice my dodge, or I'll practice like active dodge, which is not the same as mixing up dodge patterns. Instead, I'm just trying to like read their aim, like the same way you would read movement, you're reading aim by looking at the bullet tracers, and then you're just trying to move where they're not aiming. It's very intuitive and takes a lot of practice, and it's hard because you don't have very good feedback because of ping, but you just kind of build a sense for like when you need to like do which movement and in which direction. So I practice that a little bit, and then after that I just play to win. So I'm putting everything together and I'm like figuring out how my opponent plays while I'm playing to win. So like, how do I need to aim? So for example, if they're mid-strafing a lot, then I'm just going to start pre-aiming at the same rhythm that they mid-strafe. You're kind of like learning to cheese them real time, but it's like just adaptability. You're learning what dodge works for them, what aim works for them, and how much I should focus on my aim or dodge or whatever. Okay, so in the actual tournament, every time I die, I'm thinking about, why did I die? Like, what made it easy for them to kill me? Sometimes it wasn't anything in particular and they just played really well and I played slightly less optimally and there's nothing particular to gain from that. That's why I'm usually not checking the kill cam, but especially earlier in the tournament versus Dematori and Peepo, I was checking kill cam like quite often because I hadn't quite yet figured out like why I was struggling sometimes. And what it usually came down to was that I was just moving too much. Like if I was trying to hard mirror them or something like that, or just trying to dodge more, it was just making them kill me faster, and it was messing up my own movement reading. So by this point in the tournament, I was just like constantly telling myself to just like play slow, just like be calm with my movement. And you see here, like my movements look pretty calm. I'm not like spamming short strafes or anything like that. I'm just trying to focus on hitting shots, and it definitely helped. At close range, I had been really struggling the whole tournament, which was kind of strange because normally my close range is pretty decent. I'm very well balanced. I'm strongest mid-range, but my long range and my close range are pretty good. But I was completely unable to tell what was going on close range for the most part, just like flailing my mouse around. But what I had noticed during the tournament is that, like I was saying before, keeping my movement simple, but then keeping my mouse very reactive. Part of that is just because my sensitivity wasn't that high. It definitely would have helped close range if my sensitivity were like 20 cm or higher sense than that. Another thing I was trying to do close range is hit my S key a bit. I actually, watching it back, I should have been holding S more. It's dangerous to press S because when you're doing diags, if they realize you're doing diags, they're really easy to hit. So you kind of have to be careful about like how much you're going forward or back. But since I was so much stronger at longer range, I should have been abusing that more. And then at long range, I was very dominant versus pretty much everyone at long range. Part of that is because people were trying to aim head. In this tournament, head damage was increased by 25%, so you're doing 250% to the head instead of 200. But even with that bonus, aiming legs was still better. So every time he aims head, I notice he's aiming head, and then I just do anti-head aim dodge. So I can like crouch and I can strafe shorter more. You see he's aiming head here, and I'm just doing these like short mid strafes with jukes, and it's like completely messing up, like he's not hitting me at all basically. And it's very easy to aim while doing that because I'm just aiming legs, which is a big target. So it's like I can do both of those at the same time very easily. And then when he's aiming legs, I'm just pure focus on hitting shots. So I'm just like very simple movement, trying to mirror, anti-mirror. Just be careful with my mouse, trying to not move it too much. and trying to manage the, not really fatigue, but like the endurance of the long range fights, because they last a while, and you have to like, eventually you have to like reset your mouse, and it's like, it gets really awkward because you're just fighting against the recoil the whole time. The mid-range fights to me are the most interesting ones because they're like they're the most balanced. Like close range felt like kind of RNG to me, and I know it's true for other people. It's not really that RNG, but most players, including myself, found it very difficult to read the close range movement at the time. And the long range fights just felt kind of easy. Like it just felt easy to read people at long range for me. So at mid range, I'm just focusing on trying to keep my movement calm, because I'm kind of expecting to lose every close range fight and win every long range fight. So it's like the mid range ones that are like the swing fights, basically. Like that fear was making me move too much, like trying to dodge too hard, and it was just like messing up my aim. Something else worth noting is that almost at no point am I ever thinking about my dodge. That's not entirely accurate, because there's like a small amount of thought about my dodge at all times. Like sometimes I'm like, oh, this would be a good time to throw in a crouch, or like this would be a good time to like try to long strafe, but it's only occupying like a small percentage of my brain power. For the most part, I'm just trying to hit shots. Especially with the larger bullets, your ability to dodge is not as great, so it's not worth investing as much mental power to try to dodge. But that said, if you're aiming legs, you can afford to think about your dodge way more, and that's what I was saying earlier. Like if he's aiming head and I'm aiming legs, I can just dodge, and he's gonna hit almost nothing, and I'm just gonna be hitting like a baseline pretty high percent. So that's pretty much the exception. Okay, so I pretty much covered everything, I guess. Hopefully literally anything I said was interesting to anyone. I have no idea. I can go way more in depth into specific things if people have questions. Like sometimes I'm asked like, how do I like work on my dodge, or like how do I dodge, or things like that, or how do you work on your reading? If anyone has questions like that, you can ask. I could make another video where I actually answer specific questions, which might be a lot more helpful. This was kind of just like my experience in the tournament. Yeah.
I'll try to repay the favor. Bite the bullet.
Baby, I won't catch a fire.
They can't get away with this. That warms the bones. I rubbed some dirt on it. Let's go. That's better. Tactical termination. I'll try to repay the favor. You picked the wrong enemy. That one's confirmed.